with me. I feel it again. The pull to the light.
Take off that mask. You don't need it.
What do you think you'll see if I do?
The face of my son.
I'm being torn apart. I want to be free of this pain.
Supreme Leader senses it. Show me again the power of the darkness. And I will let nothing stand in our way.
And we are live. What is up, all of you awesome Star Wars fans hanging out there on the interwebs? It's Black Friday, so maybe a lot of you guys are out shopping. Maybe you got a notification on your phone and you're like, screw the shopping, I gotta watch the Last Jedi live streams. Alright, so that's probably not the case. But welcome, everyone. I am sitting down with James from the Rebel Scum podcast. James, how are you, sir?
I'm excellent. Thanks for having me on. I look forward to these every week. I like talking Star Wars with you, and I'm excited to talk about Padme today.
Yes, Padme's redemption. All right, maybe that'll be next week.
If any character needed a redemption, it's Padme,
dude,
for sure.
Definitely. We should actually dive into that later, but that feels like a whole different ball game. But anyways, today's show, we are talking about Kylo Ren's redemption. And this is sort of an interesting situation. If you guys follow, and I see some people in the chat. What's up, everybody? What's up, Janet? What's up, Scotty? You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here. If you've been following James and I's content for a while now, we don't like the idea of Kylo being redeemed. At least just on a base level, we both have had problems with it. So I actually want to start today's show as I build the audience a little bit, James. I want you to go in to this idea about Kylo's redemption, or why you like it or do not like it. So do you want to go into that a little bit, explain Kylo's redemption for people?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to try to talk about it without going into what we're going to talk about in just a little bit. Right. Obviously, here's the thing with the redemption. Look, if it happens, it happens, and I'm sure you and I will both be completely fine with it on whatever level. But the problem I have with it is that we've seen it done before. And I mentioned, I think with Brock on this week's episode of the Driving There Today of the Rebel Scum podcast, shameless plug, that how many times are we going to watch these movies? And I was referring to Rian Johnson's new trilogy, where it's about light side, dark side, and a character being torn between the two, and then flip-flopping, and then the redemption arc. Like, how many times are we going to sit through a redemption arc on these Star Wars stories? And because the Vader one you could call, it didn't exactly happen, I suppose, but when we get the prequels, obviously we live in that. Anakin was a child, he was in one to the dark side, and then is inevitably redeemed by his son. Are we going to get that again with Kylo Ren? And at what point are we going to sit there, and maybe not us, and maybe not the people watching this right now, but friends of ours, family of ours, who just go to the theater for a good time, are they going to sit there and see like, oh, well, I've seen that before. Like, what's new about this? Right. So that's where I am on the redemption. Is what's new in that redemption? And I think there's a few different ways they could take it. Even if he is moderately redeemed, I think there's a few ways they could go with it. But I don't think redemption is the path for Sir Kylo Ren. He was knighted.
Yes, he is one of the Knights of Ren. So it is Sir Kylo. Yeah. And yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, man. I mean, in general, and we're about to get into all this, but just on the base level, I've always had a problem with the redemption just because it feels too like setting up a straw man just to knock them down sort of thing, where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we have this predetermined path. And
Rian Johnson already said, he doesn't want to kill Kylo right now because exactly what he said. They set up the storm just to strike him down. What's the point in that? What's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you? And Rian Johnson keeps saying that this will propel the Star Wars lore forward, how
Right.
does that do anything for it?
Yeah, definitely. Real quick, I want to address everybody hanging out. We're going to invite more people in here, too, in a second, so thanks, everybody. You guys are so awesome. Look, there's prizes. We've got prizes, and I want to announce that Melanie Shoemaker, I don't know if you're in the show right now, if you're in the chat or whatever, but Melanie, you were last week's winner of the Kylo Ren pop. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to contact you on Facebook, get your info, and ship this bad puppy out to you. But I've got another one of these Kylo Ren pop figures, which you're entered to win. All you have to do is share this stream. So if you just click that little share button, share the stream somewhere, either in a group, on your own personal Facebook feed, you share this stream, and you're entered to win the Kylo Ren pop figure. I also have some of these cute little plushie things. We got like a BB-8 little plushie thing. We got these 2 Kylo Ren plushie things. And we're going to be doing trivia questions. We got 3 questions plotted for the day. And the first person to answer those questions correctly in the comment section will win one of those prizes. It's been super fun doing that and interacting with people. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So let's get right into the show itself. The first thing I want to talk about is actually something that I believe you and Brock, I don't know if you guys originated this, but I definitely latched onto it when you said it, and it really resonated with me. And this is, of course, the reverse Anakin Skywalker cycle. So before we go into like the points of it, explain what the reverse Anakin Skywalker cycle is.
You know, I don't think it was Brock. I think it was one of our viewers, and I don't remember which. It was on our episode 66, which we dubbed the Order 66, and we let our viewers like just give us topics and stuff that day. And I'm not sure who it was because we got so many, and I can't remember. I don't have time to look it up. I don't want to say the wrong name and get the wrong person credit, so I'm not going to. Basically, it's the reverse path of Anakin Skywalker. Anakin was born from the light with no father, and then goes dark and comes back, whereas Kylo Ren perhaps is the
Wait. You got to repeat that last point because you're breaking up a little bit.
Pulling a Kylo Ren, where that's the light side of all that. So it's bringing his grandfather.
Okay, you got to repeat that because your Canadian internet chopped out there.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, my screen went black. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
So reverse Anakin. So Kylo, perhaps born from the darkness, is what I like to think of that one when I hear it. I don't know about you, but because we know that Snoke has been around him since he was in the womb, basically, right?
Yeah.
So he's on the complete reverse path of Anakin Skywalker, which would be a unique thing for him. But again, that almost feels more like a trick, you know, like, hey, it's different because it's reverse. That, you know, the more I think of it, it's that. I mean, I thought I was on board with this idea. I love that idea.
Right.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, is it just as simple as completely telling the story, but in the opposite direction?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite that simple, but it's definitely an interesting parallel. I can see them sort of doing that. Disney and JJ and all those guys sort of doing that. It's quite an interesting idea to parallel. And, Star Wars is poetry, and so in some ways I can see where, Vader's descent and Kylo's redemption could really mirror each other. But I want to talk about specifically his pull to the light, right? Okay, so Kylo says, I feel it again, the pull to the light. Lord Santeca is talking about how, like, the First Order arose from the dark side. You did not. Talking about how he doesn't come from the dark side, him saying, I'm torn apart. His lightsaber itself being this cracked, fissured thing that's unstable, much like he is. So this is kind of a unique thing to Star Wars, right? Like, we've never really had a character that's trying to be dark side but being pulled back to the light, and we've sort of talked about this a little bit, you and I, but let's play around with that idea and explore it. Is Kylo's redemption important because it is explaining that other side? You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I got a cool comment from Hawk's Holocron, who I believe is watching right now, Scotty Hawk watching right now. Here's what he says he commented on this yesterday. What if the pull is literally the Force trying to tell Kylo you have the power to balance the Force, and the power is even stronger than either side? And then he says, hear me out on this. And he says, it's a Skywalker. But his question is, why would the light side of the Force, or vice versa, pull someone from the dark side that did not want to go to the light side? Maybe the Force is stronger than we all know, and once you understand, that is literally trying to balance itself. That's what he says. I kind of like that comment.
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
Yeah, because, look, if they're going to change the way we see Star Wars, they have to... Star Wars is about light side and dark side, ultimately, right? Yeah. That's what the foundation of it all is. I just said a couple minutes ago that when are they going to get away from the hero falling and coming back? This is a way. If the Force is always trying to balance itself and it never can, this is a way for them to easily continue these stories and us continually watching them and loving them, because you always have this conflict, because maybe the Force can never be balanced.
Yeah. That's, I've often thought about that too, right? Like, or maybe the whole idea, like, there's an ebb and a flow to it. You know what I mean? So, like, you can sort of lean light side, lean dark side, sort of, go back and forth. And I love this idea in the fandom right now of the unified Force, and people believing that, like, essentially Rey and Kylo, that how Snoke says, beyond that, something truly special, when he's, in his monologue for the trailer, people think maybe he's referring to the capacity for them to use the unified Force, both the light and the dark combined, to be, like, incredibly strong, like, really, really freaking strong, which I believe Snoke just wants to absorb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, but I guess...
And we know that Kylo and Rey are connected somehow. There's some kind of connection between Kylo and Rey, and I'm not saying they're related. Actually, I read somewhere that Daisy really said that there's no blood connection between her and anybody. So I don't know, but I'm not saying that, and I'm not even going to say Reylo right now. I'm just going to say that there is a connection between them that is driven by the Force. The Force is connecting them in some capacity, and that's a good one. If they're both extremely strong in the light side and the dark side.
Yes, that's a definitely, it's a compelling, it's like a new way to retrace old steps, I think is what we're saying, Okay, so let's talk, we talked a little bit about the pull to the light, real quick, like, I just want to know, again, what do you think about that as far as his redemption? You know what I mean? Because it's so different, like, when, I think often about how Luke says to Vader in Return, where he's like, there's still good in you, I know it, I can feel it. You know what I mean? With Kylo, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of external stuff pulling him to the light. It feels like he is literally being pulled to the light. So what do you think about that? Like, two nose on the head? Is it kind of an intriguing idea? What do you think?
I think it's very intriguing. I think it's much like, the reverse. I got to go back to reverse Anakin, because I'm a prequel fan. I like the prequels. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
Yep.
And they go beyond just not liking them.
Right.
But I think that one of the small missteps was Anakin's pull to the dark. Because when Luke is getting trained by Yoda, Luke asks about the dark side, and Yoda says that it's faster and easier and whatnot. It's not more powerful. It would have been nice to have seen something like that with Anakin. Mm-hmm. They kind of do it with he could save Padme's life, but it's not...
It's kind of,
it's not to...
Yeah, the delivery or, like, the landing of it is kind of botched, in my opinion.
Yeah, they missed the landing. So, if you look at Reverse Anakin, maybe they are not course correcting the Anakin's part, but that's part of what plays out here, is that aspect of it.
Right.
But now it's the light side calling to Kylo, because he's not meant to be dark, he's meant to be light, but Snoke has convinced him, for whatever reason, somehow, that that's not the path that he's meant to be on. So now he's feeling that pull, because that's where he's meant to be. The question I have for you now, can I turn the tables? Am I allowed to do that?
Turn the tables.
If what Scotty Hawk says is true, and let's say the Force is always trying to balance itself, if Kylo does get pulled to the light and he succumbs to it, he's like, fine, I'm no longer dark, I'm light side, who then goes to the dark?
Yeah, it's tricky, because that's actually something we're going to slightly touch on later, but it's like we kind of need a dark side person for like the future of the franchise. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of need, like, the reason that Reylo is such an intriguing idea is because I think it is like light and dark. It is yin yang. You know what I mean? We see like the anger in her. We see the softness in him. We see like they're flawed or whatever. He leans dark side, and so like if he is redeemed, like I guess you think about it. Like I guess in the circular nature, like look, he would be redeemed. Him and Rey would have a baby, and the baby would turn. You know what I mean? Like, and that's I don't know how I feel about that. Like, could there be a way that they do it that's super intriguing? Yeah, probably. Is it possible that Rey flips and goes dark? Maybe, but I just don't see Disney doing that. You know what I mean? So it's
I thought, when I first saw the trailer for The Force Awakens, I thought, oh, Rey's going dark, and then I saw the movie. And I changed my tune maybe 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I want to talk a little bit about the fall of Ben Solo, his descent, because the whole thing is he needs redeemed, right? And the redemption obviously comes from his fall to the dark side. And I want to talk specifically about him being considered the chosen one, okay? So similar to his grandfather, a lot of people, apparently including Luke Skywalker, considered Ben Solo to be the chosen one. And this has a lot to do with that raw strength and power that we know is referring to him. Adam Driver was recently talking about how, like, there's nobody really on his level, so he can't really relate to people. He's like a prodigy, so at the temple, it's very possible that he wasn't able to relate to the other kids or the adults or anybody, and all of them sort of propped him up and held him in such a high esteem. And Luke was probably like, you're the chosen one. You're meant to go forward and balance the Force in the new Jedi. And even Lord Santeca, like, I would love to see a scene with Max von Sydow and a young Ben Solo where Lord Santeca is like talking to Ben about how he's the future of the Jedi, he's this thing, and all that like pressure. Do you think that had something to do with his fall?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. But I don't know if Luke. Okay, I have not seen the TV spot where Luke says something like, "I failed Kylo" or "Kylo failed me" or whatever. I haven't seen that one yet. That's a thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't seen that one. I've seen the tempt one where Rey's like, "I feel this side and that side," because I was trying to avoid all of these TV spots, and now I'm just gonna go head first and watch them all, but because I'm so weak.
Right.
But well, also it's easier to talk about these things. But here's the thing: so I haven't seen that TV spot. So if I'm completely wrong, you can let me know right away. But I have this feeling that Luke never referred to Kylo as the chosen one, or the prophecy, or any of that nonsense. What if it was Snoke? And Snoke said, because Kylo was so powerful.
Yeah.
The only Anakin Skywalker, your grandfather, he was a chosen one, and so by heritage, you must also be the chosen one. You are more powerful than anybody here.
Right.
You're better than this. Become better than this. You have to embrace the dark side. That's how your grandfather, and that's what he played. And Luke was probably the one saying like, no, that's not right. That's not right. And that could be for me how he felt. And that's still, tragic enough for me that he would be tricked by Snoke. I don't know who Snoke is. I used to think Snoke was part of maybe the Church of the Force or had something to do with Luke, but when you look, I mean, I don't know if you can see this on my screen, but he's wearing a gold robe. We all know that.
Yep.
I don't was he pretending to be something that he wasn't for years when Ben Solo was being born? And he's not in any of the books, so that's what's really confusing for all that. But that's how I feel about it. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Have you not seen that commercial?
No, I get what you're saying, but like I think it is going to be established that he was considered the chosen one. And I think it's important because it mirrors Anakin's thing. Like the thing is, dude, and like the Jedi, like a lot. I think it's interesting because one of the things that's great about Star Wars is it sort of is like a social commentary on like storytelling and just psychology and sociology in general. So a lot of religions and philosophies, they seem to always want like a messiah. Like they seem to always want this one person or this one thing to sort of be a conduit for delivering this great change or this great awakening or whatever. And the Jedi are no different. Like the whole idea that they thought this one person would be the chosen one and would bring balance to the Force. You know what I find interesting is when you think about it, back then there were only Jedi, right? And so what do they even mean, balance of the Force? You know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean? This was before they really thought the Sith still existed. And then, like, so Dooku leaves the Jedi Order, and there's a lot of rumors in the galaxy that, like, he's going to have his own Jedi Order. Like, if you read in Tarkin, people believed that Dooku was going to create an offshoot of the Jedi himself. And there were the Guardians of the Wills, there were other people. So, but I guess it just is weird that the Jedi would prop up this thing when they didn't even have Sith that they were fighting. You know what I mean? It's like they're almost self-admitting that their own explanation of the Force and understanding of it is flawed and not balanced.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. I think personally that's where this trilogy is going, where we get to see more of the flaws from the Jedi Order. I think George Lucas was planting those seeds in the prequels. I think
Uh-oh, we might have lost James. James is going Darth Vader on us right now.
Natural.
Yeah, I think you might be good now. So you were saying something about the Force.
I was trying to add a conversation on Facebook, and I think when I turned on my phone internet, I lost you.
Oh no.
What were we talking about? The Force is the Force, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about basically the Jedi, the flaw. You were saying, like, yeah, you think the new trilogy is going to go that way?
Yes. Yeah, I think George Lucas was planting those seeds in the prequels, and when Anakin says, "From my point of view, the Jedi are evil,"
right?
I think he's being genuine in that statement, and I think when we first saw it, we're like, "That's dumb," because they're not. But when you look at it and you think back, you're like, well, actually, they were very narrow-minded.
Yeah.
And they didn't really see the big picture. And they couldn't sense what.
Yeah, definitely. They couldn't sense that.
For themselves.
Right. I mean, even if you look at Clone Wars, like, one of the things that's interesting is, like, when Ahsoka leaves the Order, and then they say she can come back, and she's like, nah. And then her and Anakin have that moment, and he's like, trust me, I know what it's like to want to leave the Order. And he wanted to leave the Order a lot. And what I think is so interesting is, like, if you look at the Mortis episode specifically, like, it's kind of implied that his path as the Chosen One was meant to end on Mortis. He was meant to become the Father, right? And sort of no longer exist in the living Force and just exist in, like, the cosmic Force and sort of be this balancing thing, you know what I mean? And I think they're playing off of some, like, you know, religious ideas there and different things like that. But, like, I think that it's a super flawed thing that the Jedi keep doing, that they're, like, putting all their faith in this one person. That kind of pressure can crack someone. You know what I mean?
100%. I completely agree with you. And I think he might have, I don't know if he was definitely the chosen one, but I think he believed he was a chosen one. And I think enough people told him that he was. And that's going to be what we're going to find out to be his downfall. Yeah. Because how do you deal with that pressure? And then I think the key really is Snoke. And who is Snoke? And not even to us, but who is Snoke to Ben Solo? We have to know who Snoke is to little tiny Ben, who's not really tiny. He's probably like 19. But we have to know, like, obviously he's someone who means a lot to this guy. Leia knows who he is. Luke must know who he is if Leia knows who he is.
Yep.
So it comes from who is Snoke to Kylo Ren. I don't care who Snoke is in the galaxy, to Luke, to Leia, to Ben Solo is what we need to know, because he's the one that obviously turned Ben into Kylo, because Leia told us.
Yep.
She told us that much.
Definitely. And we're going to touch on that too, because that's a point that I definitely want to bring up. But all right, it's time for the first trivia. Actually, it's a little late in the show, but we're gonna do it. We're doing this trivia, guys. So actually, what I want to do here, I didn't show this at the beginning of the show, but this is the Chewbacca. It's a little Chewbacca thing here. James Razili. Dude, James, you don't get to win anything. How many times do I have to tell you? So this is the little Chewbacca. So we're going to ask the trivia question. The first person to get this question correct in the comment section will win this, and I'll ship it out to you free of charge, just for you chiming in. It's kind of cool. So here we go. The question is, what is the name of the Jedi librarian from Attack of the Clones. She's actually making an appearance now in the Vader comic that is running, where she plays more of a significant role. But this was the lady that said, if an item does not appear in our records, then it doesn't exist. Yeah, that old grumpy lady. What's her name? Answer that question in the comment section. Win yourself a Chewbacca. And now we're going to have to play wait. Oh, whoa, we don't have to wait at all. Scotty nailed it. Jocasta Nu. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, that is Jocasta Nu, brother. So thank you, Scotty. Not only am I going to check out your Kylo Ren video, but I'm going to ship you a Chewbacca now, which is kind of cool. Thank you very much for being a part of the stream.
And I'm going to ship him Raylo.
Yes, guess what? We are shipping Raylo. If you didn't know, we've only got a couple more weeks before The Last Jedi. The very last one of these live streams, which is The Last Jedi live streams here on the Den of Nerds, the last one will be about Raylo. And if you didn't know, guys, Raylo's happening. So buckle up. We're living in a Raylo world.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to comment right now because I'll wait 2 weeks.
Yeah,
to talk
it's
about
going to be super fun, man. Like, I can't wait for that one. That's going to be interesting. But, okay, so let's talk about some of the problems. We've sort of already touched on some of these, but let's talk about some of the problems with the redemption itself. If he gets redeemed, dude, does that suck? Is it too contrived of an idea? Tell me, James.
Yes, that's what I said off the top.
Yep.
But here's the thing, though, is everything is contrived, really. Like, how many ideas are fresh and new anyway? And my feeling is, if there's a way they could pull off his redemption, no problem. The problem is, and I think you're going to talk about this in a second, is, yeah, this is your C to this, but I don't know if an audience member will be able to redeem Kylo Ren because of the actions we're going to talk about soon. And I don't think that matters. Does that matter? I think it would be more interesting if he's redeemed in the movies, but we still kind of hate him, and he still kind of is always torn. He could still be redeemed, do something good, but still be dark side, but feel the pull to the light. Yeah. Like how, in Attack of the Clones, Anakin is still on the light side, but he kills a bunch of Tusken Raiders. Like, he does dark things.
I know, right?
And that fits into the reverse Anakin. We're going right back to reverse Anakin.
Yep, we have to. I think it's the thing.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's super contrived. This is the thing. We've talked about this before. You can go dig up videos, and someone should, but not really, because that'll take too much time. Don't do it. But there's a ton of videos where James and I are like, redemption of Kylo, and we're both pretty much just like, no!
It's true.
Like, straight up Vader-y. Like, we're like, no, we don't want that. And I gotta be honest, like, I don't want that. I don't want the redemption of Kylo. He's an awesome bad guy. Like, I love Kylo. Like, I play look, let me show you guys something here. See if I can find this. I play a little game called Star Wars Destiny. Great game, by the way. We're going to start doing coverage on the Den of Nerds of it. But check this out. These are the card covers for my deck. It's Kylo Ren. And the background on my phone is Kylo Ren. I absolutely love this character. And if they were to turn him, it's a different character. It's, you know what I mean? It's growth. It's natural. It feels, but I don't like that idea. I don't think it's too contrived. So let's get right into, it is too contrived. Let's go to B. Is this not realistic? Like, because he killed Han Solo? And I guess what I mean is like, so, hey, Melanie Schumacher's here. Melanie, you won the Kylo Pop figure. Give me your contact details. I'll ship this bad puppy out to you. You won just for sharing the stream last week. So everybody, share the frickin' stream so you get a chance to win the Kylo Pop. Sorry, I went Seinfeld a little bit there. But yeah, so he killed Han Solo on screen. Do you think even if they redeem him in the movies that the fandom will ever be able to embrace him?
This is what I was just talking about. I don't know. But I think that's almost as intriguing as him being as anything else. Because what if they do? They're like, we're going to redeem him, and he's going to save hundreds of thousands of little porgs and Ewoks and Gungans. No, he'll kill the Gungans. And like everybody's like, and he does all these great things, but he still killed Han Solo.
Definitely.
He still killed, everyone's childhood hero. He's everyone's favorite smuggler is gone. So. Look, for me personally, I would be on board with his redemption. Like I could play along with that because I love Han Solo, but it was time for him to go. Harrison Ford, I watched this interview. Side act by here. I watched it. We have this channel here in Canada, and it's all news all the time. One of those ones.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, they used to do this thing at 2 a.m. called Rewind, and they would rewind to like old interviews, and they rewinded to the show from 1984, interviewing Harrison Ford. And he's like, I want to come back and do more Indiana Jones. And then they said, what about Star Wars? He goes, George knows how I feel. And that's all he said. It was like the most dead comment. And this was 1984. He's just like, well, I told you. He's like, I told my publicist not to talk about Star Wars. Like that's how it felt. Right. It was so raw. So
he's literally like, talk to the hand in 1984.
Yeah. That's what it was. But look, he wanted that character to go. It made sense for him to go. How much longer can we were talking about Lando yesterday on our round table?
Oh, it's great. Lando go watch the round table if you guys haven't. It's a great show we did.
It was a lot of fun. But we talk about Lando, how there's no real purpose for Lando. And Han Solo, I think his purpose was right there. Like if you're going to have his son turns dark, he's got to kill him. That's it. So for me, his redemption would work because I accepted Han Solo's death, but I think a lot of fans don't accept it. Right. Not don't accept it, but they don't like it. And so they're like, Kylo Ren is the worst villain of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
see, that's but that's okay. Like, okay, so basically.
Oh, totally.
Like the thing is, so he can save Rey. Okay, so I don't think he'll kill his mother. I think that'll be too tough on him, and I think he will save Rey in some way in this film, and that does slightly redeem him. A little bit, and it's okay that we won't forget that he killed Han Solo, and that's super messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
totally. I want to. Apparently, in one of the new trailer, Rey goes like this, like that, and she's like fighting somebody.
Yeah.
And behind her, it looks like there's a dead Praetorian guard.
Yeah.
In that shot.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out. How do you think that guard would have died? Do you think Rey? It would be kind of cool if Rey just goes apeshit and just kills everybody with her hands, like in Battlefront, whenever she throws me off the Kashyyyk map. That'd be awesome. But what if it was Kylo that killed that guard to save Rey from Snoke? Because we see her getting tortured by Snoke.
Yep, I think something similar to that is going to happen. I believe that Kylo will sort of snap and go to save Rey. It's going to be a very interesting... the thing that's cool is, we all kind of know what's going to happen, but we don't really know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? That's what's great about the film. It really feels like they've done a great job of keeping things secret. They tease us. They give us misdirection, all these different things. So at the end of the day, it could be that they get together and fight. Remember the training sequences from the sizzle reel? It really looks like they were training for the same fight together. And so if all of... Because remember, dude, do you remember when they first announced the Praetorian Guards? I did a video and I was like, why does Snoke have all these people with weapons that are going to fight lightsabers? There's only a couple people that have lightsabers. And now I realize it's so that we can have the dopest, badass battle with Rey and Kylo fighting off these Praetorian Guards. It's going to be amazing. So, that's going to happen. But, yeah, it's an interesting idea, man. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think he's going to save her. But he might do this thing where he's like, okay, I saved you. I saved my mom. I killed my dad. I'm not ready to be the hero. I need to go hide. Maybe he does his own version of Dagobah and Ahch-To. You know what I mean? And just does the Jedi thing and frickin' goes and is in isolation. And what was that thing that the oath that they take that the guy in the Vader comic took? It's
the Shuk-Tuk take.
Yeah, so
that should be a trivia question.
It should be. Crap. It's a great question. Maybe next week, and if you watch this week's show, you'll have the answer next week. But essentially, what if he does something like that? I could live with that. Self-exile, come back in the next trilogy or something. That would be awesome.
Melissa Metzger, the Barish Oath.
Barish Oath. That is it. Melissa, great to see you, by the way. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So let's go ahead and give away something else. Let's give some toys away. Scotty, I gotta be honest, man. You can definitely still answer this question, but I want to give something to someone else, is what I'm saying. So feel free to answer the question, but I might give it to someone else. Maybe one of these ladies. James Rosili wants a porg. Who's this James Rosili guy? Why is he?
He really wants a porg.
He's blowing up my freaking live streams. Who is this guy, James? All right, you ready? Here's the question, everyone. This is not a hard question if you're a really hardcore Star Wars fan, which many of you are. Team player, bro. Love it. All right, here we go. What is Kanan Jarrus's actual name? What's his real name? Answer that question in the comment section to win some plushies. Look, BB-8 and Kylo. I'm shipping these guys as a couple. I feel like that's
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Bilo. No. I love BB.
BB-I, Yeah.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get those? Are those Tsum-Tsums?
Tarjay. Yeah, they are Tsum-Tsums.
I have a Darth Maul Tsum-Tsum.
Do you really? Nice.
Yeah, I have a bunch. I have a Jar Jar one as well. It's on our set over at Brock's. I don't have any near me, though. But
we gotta wait for people to get this question right. Caleb Doom! But it's Caleb Dune, Melanie. So I'm gonna have to give that to Melissa, but that's okay, because you still won the pop figure, though, Melanie. Don't be upset. You got the pop figure. It's cool.
So close.
So
in fairness, the Loth Wolves, it sounds like Doom.
It definitely sounds like Doom when they're saying it, and I would love let's decide Akbar on that for a second. So I would love it if he thinks they're saying Dune the whole time, and then they're literally like, "No, it's Doom," and then everything like they blow up or something. And
that would be awesome.
Dies. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Nice, James. I'm glad that you received your BB9 plushie, man. I'm very happy to send that out to you, man. It's like I was saying before, it's just fun for me to go buy Star Wars toys. I love that. I think we all do as Star Wars fans. So, I'm happy to give it to you guys. But honestly, it makes me feel good, going and getting it and shipping it out. It's a cool process. People say all the time that giving is the way to feel good, and it's totally true. So, I appreciate you guys supporting me, supporting James, supporting independent media. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. It's very, very cool. All right, so let's get into this is the real meat of the topic, okay? I want to talk about Snoke because here's the thing. Up until very recently, I've been like, no way Kylo's redemption. No way Kylo's redemption. I hate the idea. Screw you, Disney. And then all of a sudden I started to think about Snoke. All of a sudden I really started to think about his manipulation. And what really crystallized it for me recently was seeing the video or the trailer where Resist It Rey. And then you couple that with the Entertainment Weekly article, which it really looks like she shows up to Snoke's ship. So if this guy is so strong that he convinces Rey against the wishes of Master Jedi Luke Skywalker to go to his ship, what kind of crazy mental power does this guy have? And if he has manipulated Kylo since birth, we believe, right? Man, maybe this guy does need redeemed, and it would actually make sense. So the first part of this, I want to ask you, James, directly. Do you believe that Kylo Ren has been driven insane? Do you think he's crazy? And I want to talk about when Han said there's too much Vader in him, and then his mother says, no, it was Snoke. I think kind of suggesting that she knew that Snoke was mentally affecting him. No, it was Snoke. Is Kylo Ren insane?
I don't think he's insane. I think he is tormented. Can I say that instead? I guess the same kind of idea, but I don't think insane. I think tormented. I think Han Solo says there's too much Vader in him. Vader was a bad guy. He was a dark side of the Force. He was, the Emperor's muscle. He did that kind of stuff. Kylo was none of that. Kylo is on the surface a bad guy, but like we talked about earlier, he has a pull to the light, and that's what separates him from Vader. Vader was never pulled to the light. Vader turned to the light because of the love for his son, for his family, for his flesh and blood. Whereas Kylo didn't have that. Kylo was like, I have to kill my father so I could become full darkness. And I think that is where Snoke plays on this. Snoke is like, when you accept the dark, that is when you could be completely powerful. Why? I don't know. I'm going to find out in 2 weeks, though.
I know, right?
But, or maybe not. We might not find out.
I know, but that's okay, because then we'll just talk about it for 52 weeks. Last year on live streams, all year
I know,
next
I was like,
year.
Man, there's only 2 more of these after today. I was like, that's kind of depressing. I'm really liking these, but I really want to watch the movie. Do not get me wrong. But so I don't think he's crazy. I think he's tormented. And that's the difference, I think, is I think he's still there, but he's so conflicted. And he's conflicted because he has, again, we don't know who Snoke is, and that's the X factor. Is this person who obviously means a lot to him in some capacity is messing with his head. Yeah, and like I guess for me it just is like, what if that messing we don't know for sure, but like what if he is insane? Like, and look, with social commentary and different things like that, it would be interesting to talk about mental illness in a very interesting way, but the bottom line is like, when someone pleads insanity, part of the idea there is that they are not personally responsible for some of the things that they do, because their brain, the part of them that really affects, your decision making is broken. So if they're literally broken, they're kind of like not responsible for some of the things that they do. And so I guess in my mind, it sort of makes sense that Kylo could be redeemed if he is truly insane. Like if Snoke has been whispering in his ear since he was a child, and he's always had this voice inside him, and then Snoke has somehow manipulated him into thinking that that's good, and he's got like this version of Stockholm syndrome, and he like believes that he's been primed for greatness and that his destiny lies with this person who knows all these things, and that's a charismatic sort of factor with a lot of people like from the past that are dictators and leaders of evil movements. They wrap you up with their charisma and all this just grandiose, and you accept their vision as true, and therefore don't necessarily feel the responsibility of your own actions. You know what I mean? Like, the displacement of responsibility is key to perpetuating any sort of massively evil idea. It's always been there, innate to these things in the real world. So I kind of like the idea that he could be insane. As you said, you don't agree with it, but let me ask you this. If they reveal that, will you be disappointed if he's like legit insane? Yes. No. No, of course not. I think he's more tormented than insane. I like it. Like, it's a good idea when you brought it up. But yeah, I don't. It's a way for the audience to go, "Aw," and then that could help the redemption, because he did kill Han Solo.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You know what? A lot of people have been bringing up the last couple of weeks. I've been getting this a lot. I'm going to do another show.
Let me guess.
If you don't mind.
Let me guess. It's the freaking that Han turned the lightsaber on himself.
No, I'm not talking about that. That's
okay.
If you've read the novel, that's not the case.
It's not true.
So no, what this is, so we're doing a contest on the Rebel Scum podcast channel. If you email us, rebelscumbags@gmail.com, you just tell us in 200 words or less your predictions for The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. And then whoever comes the closest is going to win a few books and a t-shirt. And it's a cool contest. You can't win, Josh, because there's no porks.
Dang!
Anyway, so we're doing that, but I'm getting a lot of emails and a lot of comments, and a lot of people are on this wavelength now of Snoke is going to kill Leia.
Mm.
And that is going to set Kylo on the path, not necessarily of redemption, but of turning on Snoke and maybe joining with Rey and perhaps Luke. Who knows where that goes, but something like that, where he's not completely turned, but he still has his morals, or he still has, if that's his mother, and he did this thing to his father, and maybe if Snoke does kill Leia, the thing I like about that, and I'm not saying it's going to happen or not, or whatnot, but the thing I do like is if Snoke took out Leia, that could trigger something in Kylo's mind where he says, this guy made me kill my father because he said it would make me more powerful.
Right.
It didn't. Now he's taken out my mother. Who is this guy? What has he done to me? Mm. And so that could be something playing there as well.
Yeah, that's sort of, it's kind of similar, right? It's a similar idea.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, what we're really saying is that, like, I guess I can personally stomach it as a fan a little bit more, depending on what they reveal Snoke to be. If Snoke has influenced him to a super unhealthy degree, which we already know is the case. Like, we already know that's reality. But it just feels like they need to emphasize that if they're going to go with the redemption. Like, Rey needs to take pity on him. When she interacts with Snoke, she needs to do a Luke Skywalker-esque thing, throw down the saber, I will not strike him down, you cannot control me the same way that you controlled him, and that thing needs to inspire hope within Kylo. And I know that's going to be very similar to Return of the Jedi. People are going to be like, I don't like it, you know what I mean? But just shave your head and go to sleep. That's
what if this movie mirrors Return of the Jedi and not Empire Strikes Back? What if this is like
probably have bits and pieces of all of them? But that scene is going to be. I think that scene's going to be like very Return-esque. I mean, think about it. Kylo is just like Vader. He's hanging out behind her, right?
When do you think that happens in the movie?
I would say third act.
Yeah?
I would say either third act or beginning of the second act. Here's the thing. We don't really know the overall narrative flow of this thing. It could move at a pretty quick clip. You know what I mean? So if it moves fast and we get that in the beginning of the second act, I mean, I'll be so happy if we get it in the second act. But it feels like a third act thing to me.
Yeah, it does. It just surprised me because Force Awakens, you know, the first few trailers, they only gave us the first like 20 minutes of that movie. I know. Like, and now it looks like, apparently I read this earlier that we've only seen 6 minutes. If you combine everything together, we've seen 6 minutes of a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah,
which is nothing.
Amazing, and I'm so excited about that because we're gonna go places. We're gonna be doing stuff we have no. I mean, we don't know jack about DJ. We haven't really seen Canto bite. These are all just aspects. These are all just things along the way. And like, man, I'm excited, man. Obviously, I'm a little excited for it.
Yeah, it's not like you're doing a live stream every week.
Dude,
Thursday.
I'm so excited for it. I'm thinking about doing live streams every week leading up to the movie. That sounds like a pretty good idea.
I don't know if you could do it, but we'll try.
I don't know either. All right, let's do a trivia question. We're going to end the stream in a little bit. We're going to kind of go over some points again. But let's do one more stream. I've got more of these plushy things. These little plushies. What are these things called? Sum-sums? Like, are these really cool, James? Do people like these? Am I messing up by giving these all away? Uh-oh, James went Canadian internet on me again, folks. But, all right, here is the trivia question. I want to know, what is the name of the Jedi Master that ordered the clones on Kamino? What's the name of that Jedi? How long can I keep that up? You know what I mean? Not long. I don't want to do it anymore.
I bet Alex Trebek has good internet. He's Canadian.
Yes, we got guys. So they have a Patreon for the Rebel Scum podcast, and I just wish that we could brand the Patreon as "Get James Better Internet," because I like live streaming with him. So
me too.
We want it to be less chappy. Diego Diaz. No. Janet, no. That is not the Jedi that ordered the clones on Kamino. Yes, Sifo Diaz. There we go. She got it.
Sifo Diaz is Snoke.
I wanted to give you credit for Diego Diaz, but it was just honestly, it was just too funny to just go no. But congratulations, Janet. You got it. You nailed it. So I'll be shipping you out some plushies. And Janet is a big supporter of the Den of Nerds and the Rebel Scum podcast. So thank you very much, Janet. You're awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm going to like that. There we go.
We appreciate you very, very much. Okay, so the last point I want to talk about here before we get off of this here live stream is the difference between forgiveness and redemption. Now, we've sort of talked about this before, but is it possible that Kylo is redeemed? Let's describe some scenarios or think about headcanon-y things where he is redeemed but not forgiven. Not really forgiven maybe by himself or the galaxy.
Interesting. Well, so look, he killed Han Solo. So for us, that's like, oh, he killed Han Solo. But for the galaxy, Han Solo was a general who kind of disappeared into whatever and became a scoundrel smuggler once again. So I don't think overall for the galaxy that that's actually a big deal. We don't really know what he's done prior to that.
Right.
You know, like we don't know, did he go around and kill, because even on Jakku he kills Lor San Tekka and that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't take anyone else out. He goes in Poe's mind. He doesn't kill Poe. All we've seen him do is kill Lor San Tekka when Lor San Tekka, you know, eggs him on and tells him that he's a good guy and he doesn't have the heart of a bad guy. And then he's like, screw you, old man. Shh.
I know, right?
So really, how bad is Kylo Ren viewed in the galaxy? So if he came around and he saved Leia or Holdo or Poe or Finn or Rose or any of, you know, if he saves an entire resistant fleet, I think the galaxy would be like, okay, we can accept you.
Yeah.
And then really it's up to him. I think Kylo Ren's arc comes down to Kylo Ren. If he is insane like you proposed, then I don't think there's any possibility of pure redemption on his part. The galaxy can still redeem him, but I think he will always be tormented in that way. And that's that's where I am on this. I just don't think a full redemption is going to happen. A partial redemption, some people feel like it, some people won't, but I don't see a full redeeming arc for him. Just because of his mental, his headspace, it's not there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like I said, I would really love for him to redeem himself slightly, do some stuff for the good guys, turn against Snoke, save possibly Rey and his mother. But I would also really like a scenario where like Luke and him have a conversation, and Luke is just like, "You're dead to me." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or even his mom, like what? Because it's so weird. Like his mom, she got a dude. This is the guy that killed your lover, like the guy that you loved. And so I would like it if like everybody can be sort of like, hey, thanks for the help, bro. Now go screw off because nobody wants you here. You know what I mean?
I feel though he would know that, like because where he's hey.
Sorry, you broke up, brother.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're back.
I was just saying, I don't think Leia could ever hate her son.
Yeah.
I just don't, like, I think everybody else could be like, thanks a lot, you should lead, but she'll be like, and even if she's like, you should probably go to Dagobah, she would say it, but then also, like, console him, give him a hug, and be like, you'll always be my son, blah, blah, blah.
I know, and it's interesting, too, like, when you think about Luke, I mean, think about, thank you, Melanie, thanks for being a part of it, and definitely I'll ship that out to you. When you think about Luke, like, I constantly think about him watching the corpse of his father burn, and just such, like, an interesting, like, conflict of emotions and stuff there, and the way that they had to hide it from the galaxy. And, like, look, everybody, like, Luke, like, was so about that, and was so, man, I feel like he just wished he had more time with his dad. You know what I mean? And, like, Luke is on this very strange path. When we see him in Battlefront, I mean, he just is so at peace, such a peaceful warrior, such like the Luke Skywalker that we know and love, and it just feels like, you know, he was doing that for a long time, and even he would have to admit that Kylo probably hasn't done anything nearly as wrong or as evil as Vader. I mean, Vader did a lot of evil stuff, hunted down the Jedi, helped perpetuate the Empire, you know what I mean? Like, very, very evil stuff. And if Vader can be redeemed even in some small way, that's awesome. But I don't think Vader's forgiven. Like, when you ask, like, think about it, in Bloodline and all that, they're like, even knowing that Leia was related to Vader was damning. It destroyed her career. How can we trust her now? You know what I mean? So I think that for certain characters like Luke and Leia, perhaps it'll be easier to forgive, especially when we know more about Snoke and his manipulations and stuff. But for the rest of the galaxy, they might sort of always see him as just an instrument of the First Order. You know what I mean? And
I just don't know if he's done what Vader has done, because we haven't seen him do anything. Like, does the galaxy know Kylo Ren exists? Is my question.
I think so, and I
hope so.
Yeah, I think so because, unlike Sheev and Palpatine's Empire, the Force is right at the front of the First Order. They know for sure that the First Order has links to the dark side, and this is because the contingency recognized Palpatine and the Force. And there's even some great lines in, I believe they're in Aftermath and maybe even in Inferno Squad. For some reason, I'm thinking they're in Inferno Squad too. But where basically they say something to the degree where the dark side of the Force was a source of power and strength for our Emperor, and now we too shall find purpose and strength within it. And so they shift their idea to be very open about the dark side and the Force and their use of it. And so what I think is going to happen is, because the First Order is sort of, I think, coming into prominence in The Last Jedi, people are going to know more about it. I mean, they already kind of do, but I think it's going to be like, you know, pick a freaking side because the First Order's coming.
Yeah, because the Force Awakens was the First Order's coming out party, right? So, they don't really know about them too much.
Yeah,
that's where I am on Kylo. Like, who knows Kylo Ren is a thing? Like, does Holdo know?
Yeah, I think
2 weeks.
so.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. But you know what? I gotta say, I think that they do. I think that because I think that now what's going to be happening too is there's going to be stuff on the HoloNet. Like, I can see Snoke putting out stuff on the HoloNet and being like, the First Order is now the only way. Join or be destroyed. By the way, this is my boy Kylo Ren. You know what I mean? And then and then he lights up the saber and he's like dancing around with it and stuff. And people are like,
I'm down.
This Kylo dude's kind of cool. I like him. But then they're like, and he's like, takes off his mask. He's like, I killed my dad. And everyone's like, oh man.
Oh no.
Oh man, I can't like you now. So.
Can't like you now.
I can't like you now, bro. I wanted to vote for you, but I can't.
I really
now.
wanted to be your bro.
Yep. Bros for bros. But yeah, I think this was a good talk. Do you have any last things you want to say about Kylo's redemption? You want to surmise your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really torn on his redemption. I don't. He's not going to get redeemed.
Yeah,
I'm going with that one. And this is not what I want. This is what I feel. I feel like if they do the redemption, they're going to the powers that be, the Rian Johnsons and J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrios are going to say, hey, everyone thinks this is coming. Everyone thinks Rey is Luke's daughter.
Right.
That can't be the case. We've got to change that.
Yeah.
So if they keep him evil he could still have a moment with Leia or with Luke that really kind of, closes something there and lets you feel like, oh, things are okay there. But he will never be a good guy.
Yeah.
Is what I want to say. I really hope he doesn't. And I like this thing. I think you brought it up. Someone brought it up months ago, where the trilogy after this, not Rian Johnson's, but like the sequel trilogy to this sequel trilogy, he would be like the big bad, like the Emperor would be Kylo Ren overseeing everything.
I would love it. I would love that. Love it. Plus, think about this. Wouldn't his redemption be more interesting if we got 3 more films of him doing way more wicked evil stuff? Like, that would be, you know what I mean? To me, that's a redemption. You know what I mean?
Like Janet's mad at me, but I just want to see Kylo be bad.
Me too.
Look, when I'm playing Battlefront, I don't know if you finished the campaign or not.
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
Okay, I don't want to spoil anything. So, when you first load the game, you get to be Kylo Ren.
Oh, and that part's amazing.
And when I saw Kylo, I was like, F-bomb, man. I like this character. Yep. I was like, I like his mask. Right now I changed it to unmask because I have the unmask option. But I'm like, I like his mask. I like his look. I like how badass he is.
Yep.
He is awesome. Oh, wait, I have to point out something to Janet right now.
Yeah.
She says, no, please save Ben Solo. What if, and what I just said, where there is like, Kylo and Leia have a moment. What if in that moment Leia's like, okay, you're free, and then there's like a Ben Solo is kind of like no longer, like basically Ben Solo's dead, and Kylo Ren it just kind of takes over from there.
Yeah, could be interesting for sure. Janet probably hates it.
Yeah, totally. She just unsubscribed to both of our channels.
Yep. All right, but yeah, no, it's interesting. I guess, you know, just to surmise my thoughts on it, like I've been a little more into the redemption lately. To me, it all rests on the shoulders of Snoke. Depends on his powers. Depends on how much he has corrupted Kylo. I could see a scenario where everyone's like, dude, honestly, I feel bad for you, Kylo. Like, literally, you killed your dad, and you were sort of hypnotized into doing that. That's super messed up. Please, like, come back and let's help you. I can stomach that. I do, however, honestly hope that does not happen. I like the character. I like him on the dark side. He can do some stuff that's kind of good. Have him save Rey and still be evil. That can happen. If he falls in love with her, which is happening, by the way. Reylo, it's happening. But if he does love her, then, you know, it's possible that he's evil but will be good for her a little bit. Anti-heroes are really cool. It would be kind of interesting to have an dark side using sort of anti-hero wild card-esque character, especially if the Sith roll around anyway. So you could have the Sith, you could have Kylo's thing, the Knights of Ren, you could have all these different offshoots. That could be really, really interesting. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
Love it.
Yep. So guys, this has been the Last Jedi live streams, episode number 3, Kylo's Redemption. Thank you guys so much. We have a super active comment section today, and I think that had a lot to do with Janet actually being able to watch the live stream. She was messaging me a lot. You know, she normally cannot watch on Thursdays, and I get it. So who knows? Maybe we'll even move next week's to later on Thursday so that more people can chime in. I don't know. We'll talk to James about it off camera. But thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Like I said, share this stream. Share this stream for a chance to win the Kylo Pop. And even if you are not watching this live, you're watching it later, share the stream. You have a chance to win the Kylo Pop. All you got to do is share it. So thanks again. James, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at the Rebel Scum Podcast on the YouTube thing. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and PlayStation 4 at Petzfina, Pezzfina, where I really suck at Battlefront. So if you want to earn more credits, play me and beat me, and you will increase like that.
Awesome. Definitely go check out. A lot of you guys are probably already subscribed to Rebel Scum Podcast, but if you're watching this and you are not, go check them out. I love their content, and if you're like me, you just want all the Star Wars you can handle. So I listen to their stuff. They have awesome chemistry. Those guys are great. I'm doing a Duel of the Fates with Sir Rob McDonald, where I'm going to kick his butt with my extensive knowledge of The Force Awakens. So there's a little promo video for that on their YouTube. It's hilarious. I wasn't supposed to swear. I did.
But I actually asked if I should bleep you out, and I got a hard no.
Dude, when I was watching it last night, I was at the Sidak bar. I was at the bar last night, and you know this because we were texting a little bit, and I was pretty drunk. And so I'm at the bar, and I get the message or whatever, and I'm like watching the video, and I'm like really curious. I'm like, did he beep it out? Did he cut it out? What's going on? And then nothing happened, and it's just full on me saying that, and I just started cracking up. I was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's honestly, look. That is watch the video if you can, guys, because I thought both you and Rob both.
It's amazing, like, dude. Yeah, Rob's response is incredible. We got to start doing more of these because the crap talking and just the energy and everything. It feels awesome. It's very fun. So
it's a good time.
But I'm Josh, guys. You can check out me on the Den of Nerds. Check out the Den of Nerds Facebook. You're on it right now, so check it out. It's pretty cool. The Den of Nerds YouTube channel. We just passed 8,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. It is an honor, and honestly, weirdly, like, great to be able to just talk about the things that I love and entertain other people with it. It's amazing. It's crazy. So thank you guys so much. Go to thedenofnerds.com. Great articles on there. Justin weighed in on the Battlefront 2 loot boxes being considered gambling controversy. It's a great article. He breaks down a lot of different thoughts, brings in ideas from here and there. No matter how you feel about it, it's an intriguing article. Go check that out. But that is going to do it for this episode. Check us out next week. We might bump it to later in the day on Thursday so more people can come hang out. But we are doing Last Jedi live streams next week. We're going to cover the lightsaber theory, which gets into kyber crystals and the new way that kyber crystals are being used in canon. So that'll be very, very cool. Yeah, that's all for now. Thank you guys, and may the Force be with you always.
Always.
Yeah.